All right. I think we're rolling. Hello. Welcome in. It's Christmas. Welcome. My name is UnquestionableCalvin. I talk to people about what they believe, why they believe it. Excuse my dog if she's barking in the background. Sorry, that's a thing. Just give me a minute to get my bearings together, get all my stuff up and running here. For the time being, feel free to request up as a guest. Feel free to ask me any questions, comments, concerns you might have. We can talk a little bit about it. Sorry, again, I'm just making sure all my stuff is up and running here. All right, test 1, 2, 3. Cool. All right, man, we're good. Sorry, my dog is barking in the background. I hope that you guys aren't picking that up too much. You know what? I called her in here, so maybe she'll come in here. Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome in. There she is. There's a Saffron. Welcome in, everybody. It is Christmas Eve, 12/24/2025 at 12:02 p.m. Not sure how long I'm going to be streaming for, but I figured I would make an appearance and say hello. Just so you know, if you call up, the only things that I ask is that first of all, that you're half decent. Let's not like argue or anything. I'm not feeling up to it today. Let's have a good conversation first and foremost. Secondly, you can have, you can be theist, you can be atheist. It really doesn't matter to me. If you want to call up, we can have a conversation about something, that's fine. And thirdly, if you can violate any community guidelines as a caller, whether here on TikTok or on YouTube, because this will be posted on YouTube, post-production, probably by end of day today, it'll be posted on YouTube. Then you won't get a spot in the YouTube stream, and I'll just have to block you like altogether, and you won't be able to ever call up again. So, and like, let's not ruin it for everybody. Okay. So yeah, just don't violate any community guidelines. That's all I ask. I'm going to say hi to a couple people, guys. First and foremost, too, if you'd like to leave a donation for me, you're welcome to, but they're not required. You can go to PayPal and send it to this link up here, UnquestionableCalvin. Or if you go to the link in my bio, you can find my PayPal link in there, and you can send me a little donation. I'll give you a nice little shout out. But that's totally up to you. It's not required. Just appreciate you guys being here and watching. No gifts required. But yeah, I would like to talk to a couple theists today. I did do a little bit of research on some pagan traditions and stuff that Christianity very obviously stole from paganism, like blatantly, very easy. Yeah, so I have some notes on that. So if we want to talk about that, we can go that route. White Boy 58, we got a hater in the comments. Hey, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you. So yeah, how's everybody doing on this Christmas Eve? What's everybody's time zones? Like, what time is it where you're at? Feel free to call up as a or as a guest if you'd like. White Boy 58. Let's look and see how old White Boy 58 is. Oh, White Boy 582. Oh boy. Oh my man. That haircut's got to go, my dude. What are you, 12? I'm going to guess 12. Hey, thanks for being here and supporting. I hope you know the more comments that you make, the more the live spreads. So I appreciate you. But hey, how's everybody doing out there? Feel free to shoot a question, comment, concern. Here, we'll mute him for 5 minutes and see if he actually sticks around for 5 minutes to come back on. Am I spiritual? No. What is spiritual, though? I don't really know what that means. So I've never really gotten a coherent definition as to like what spiritual exactly means. Like being spiritual, like do you mean? Yeah, I guess I'd be curious as to like what you mean by it. So you can call up and we can talk a little bit more about it. Is it OCA_BV? Sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Says you care. Well, thanks. I'm glad that you care. No, it doesn't hurt me that random people on the internet don't care about well, say that they don't care about my content, and then stick around and spam the chat. It's like, wow, obviously you do kind of care. Let's see. So I've got my I've got my phone going on like right off camera here. So that's how I'm checking, proofreading all of my stuff. Actually, you can kind of see it in the camera. Let me kind of move it a little bit. There we go. Welcome in, everybody. I'm welcome to talk to anyone about anything today. We don't have to stick to just theist conversations. We can talk about whatever. You know, if you're just an atheist and want to, I don't know, talk about something, then feel free to call up. But yeah, guys, a couple days ago, just passing time here until we get some callers in. Yeah, the other day was my birthday, 2 days ago. What's up, Atheist Prime? But yeah, 2 days ago was my birthday. On the 22nd, I turned 30. Yeah, so I've officially made it to 30. It was a fun little birthday. I did have to work full, 8.5 hours on my birthday, which is fine, not a big deal. Afterwards, my wife and I went and got some Indian food because I really love some tikka masala. I love some biryani. I got some really spicy biryani, lamb biryani. Yeah, it was really good. We got a nice question in here from Robbie Carley. Says, why are you celebrating Christmas then? Because Christianity doesn't own Christmas. Christianity stole a lot of the whole point of me being live today is that Christianity stole a lot of the pagan traditions and even Norse legends and converted them into Christianity, right? Or with Christian ideals, right? So yeah, just because I'm an atheist, that I love Christmas. I do. I love Christmas as an atheist. I love the Christmas trees. I love ornaments. I got my Christmas sweater on with my sloth on here. It's got a sloth, really cute. I love Christmas. Even though like my birthday is so close to it, I've kind of have a love-hate relationship with it because people tend to focus obviously on the major holiday that's going on. Not my birthday, but nonetheless, I've kind of learned to live with it. But yeah, I love because Christmas to me isn't about Jesus. It's never really been about Jesus for me. Like even in my family, even as an ex-Christian, it never was about Jesus. It's about just like being with your family and having, fun family experiences with each other and, reminiscing on memories and opening presents and, just, community, just being there for each other. That's what Christmas has always been about. It's never been about Jesus for me. Never once, except for when I was going to church, then they would talk about it, obviously. But like my mom never pushed the whole, it's Jesus's birthday type of thing on me. Right. It's just, it's just a fun holiday. Right. So, Philotheosis says Santa Claus is real. If you say so, man, if you say so. I am Satan says Satan wishes you Merry Christmas. Thank you. I am Satan. Satan wishes you a very Merry Christmas as well. Hail. Let's see if we got any guests calling up. Let's see if we got any theists who are brave enough to step up to the plate. Let's see, forgive me, my computer is very slow. No guests yet. No one inviting up. I do say so. May the blessed Saint Nick pray for us all. I was looking into him a little bit last night just because I was like, I don't know, just looking up talking points and stuff in case people brought up like Santa Claus or whatever. And there's surprisingly not a whole lot of evidence of Saint Nicholas really existing, to be fair. That's a story for another day. Am is asking, wait, are you Satanist too? Asking, I am Satan. Been Satanist for 17 years. Nice. Interesting. I'll stick to just regular atheism for me. Regular old atheism without the extra baggage. All right, well, we ain't got any callers yet. I need to get my stuff up and running to where I can stream to multiple streaming platforms. That's a big struggle that I'm dealing with right now. Kingston says God is real. All right, call up and we can talk about it. Be interested to hear why you believe that. But anyways, yeah, the big struggle lately has been navigating this crappy computer I have and trying to get it to stream to multiple streaming platforms. So I want to be able to put this like on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, etc. Just like have it streaming to multiple platforms. And like I can get OBS Studio and stuff on this computer. It runs like trash. And like even just running TikTok Studio, even just like running TikTok Studio, like my computer's CPU is like through the roof right now. Kingston says he's real if I say he's real. Yeah, basically. Bill Johnson. So you're saying nothing exploded, became everything, and dirt spontaneously came to life? Who said that? I have never once said that, and I would love for you to find literally just one person, not even atheist, just a person who believes that. I would love, and that like, yeah, that actually believes that nothing exploded and became everything. Don't theists believe everything came from nothing? Because what was there before God? There wasn't a time before your God, right? Like God was always existent, according to most Christians that I talk to, or believers in general. Their God has always existed. So quite literally, like your God created everything out of nothing. So like you're the one who believes God that something comes from nothing. I never claimed that. What do you believe on the beginning of the universe? I think that the Big Bang is the current best explanation. But I don't know if I would necessarily agree that there is a quote-unquote beginning of the universe. I don't know if I would necessarily agree with that. Again, I'm just not smart enough to what's the word I'm looking for? To explain that to you. I guess I'm just not smart enough. But I can send you plenty of resources on where you can get that information. I more so come from the position that the universe was probably, maybe, always existent. Where did it all come from then? I don't know. I don't claim to know. You do, so you have to prove it. Why don't you call up, Bill? We can have a conversation. I don't have any guest callers yet. Sounds like it'd be a fun call. Ichtheist. No, I'm talking, so I'm kind of missing. Let me see here. I'm an ichtheist. I wonder how theists would even begin to tackle defining the God to me. Yeah, interesting. Prove abiogenesis. What you're asking a random atheist guy on TikTok who has no experience in abiogenesis or biology. Well, a little bit of experience in biology. I did start to go to school for it. I didn't finish, but you're asking me why don't you go find a biologist? they're everywhere. Do you know that Google exists, right? Like you can Google those things. Why are you asking a random atheist guy who's just trying to talk about gods about abiogenesis? Sounds like you're not getting your information from the right places. Like if I want to learn, would it be reasonable if I jumped into like a biologists live and told them to prove to me how cell phone technology works? Like, do you think that that's a good thing to do? Does infinity exist as a concept? Who wrote all the codes in DNA? Nobody, because there's no codes in DNA. Aren't like, you can't like look at your DNA and see like A, B, C. You can't see letters in your DNA, my dude. Like there's no codes in DNA. There's no writing of codes. It's just a biological process that has just fallen into place. There's no divine intervention needed. No, there's not. Are you literally saying that there's letters in DNA? Ringo, I fail to believe that you're in medicine. You got a nice photo there. But no, there's no actual literal code. Like that we use a code that we created to describe DNA. Well, to describe a thing that we call DNA, but there's not literal code in our DNA that someone had to write. That's not a thing. Yeah. Also, Ringo, that's someone made a good point that being in medicine doesn't mean anything. I technically was in medicine, but you shouldn't get any medical advice from me. I was in medicine for 4 years, technically. Just out of curiosity, if you really had to choose an Abrahamic faith, which one would you choose? Well, none of them, I guess, because I think that they're all atrocious. So like still not like if I have the choice, it's still gonna be no. Here, Bill, since you're a little cowardly, I'll send you an invite to come up, okay? Here, let me get my stuff going so I can send you an invite, because for some reason you don't want to. We got all the time in the world to send messages, right? But no time to actually talk, right? Let's see, Bill. It looks like you got your settings changed where I can't send you an invite. What's up? Are you scared? I know I would be. All right. No callers yet. Nobody calling up. I'm just messing with my settings. Keyboard warriors, exactly. I know. That's all they can do is type behind a screen. And people could try to say that about me, but then, they realize that I do this exact same thing, but in public with a big sign. Can't talk very well. I had a stroke. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but still. What do you have as a job? One that pays the bills. Do you think that I'm going to tell you where I work? No, I'm not. Literally no one knows where I work unless you are one of my coworkers and know that I do this. Which even then, it's only the people who have accidentally stumbled across me, which is probably a handful of people at work. It's not that big of a deal, but for the sake of job security and my security, I'm not going to disclose where I work because you will know. You will know. Your goal in life if you are an atheist. Are you asking what my goal in life is if I'm an atheist? Well, my goal in life is to live a long and prosperous one, right? The one that I enjoy, right? That's the my goal in life is to just have a happy life. Like bottom line. I think that's basically everybody's goal, is it not? In some way, shape, or form, does it not all boil down to I want to have a happy life? Pretty simple. I just want to do it without the necessity for believing in fairy tales. And I think that overall, it's going to be best for you. I think overall, it's going to be best for you if you do the same. That's just my opinion, though. Joyful Apostate sending me a heart. Thank you. I appreciate you. Kicking it off. We're up here 19 minutes and 14 seconds, and we've not had a single guest caller. You guys, what the heck am I going to post on YouTube if there's no callers? I can't post this on YouTube if there's no callers. No, I'm kidding. This is going to get posted on YouTube whether there's any callers or not, even if it's just me kind of, gish galloping amongst myself, talking to commenters or whatever. It's still going up on YouTube because it's still a Christmas stream. I do plan on doing this for at least, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. Depends on how many callers we get. No request box. There definitely should be. Let me make sure. Yeah, guest requests are on. It's on. It says permission settings, allows requests from viewers. So yes, it is on. So yep, what you got to do, guys, is you go down to this side, down here, where it has your comment, and then you go directly next to it, about right here. There should be a little, like, two people there, like a red person and a blue person, right there. Click on that, right? I'm doing it too. And then it'll ask, request to join as a guest. Grab your chance to be the next guest. So you just click that, you hit yes, and then it puts you into the queue. And you can, then we can call up. Sorry, I guess I should have made sure everybody knew that, but I just figured you guys did. Let's come back on some of these comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. GT says, God Jewel, Calvin? I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. Bananas Benny says, death isn't the end of existence, it's a separation of body and soul. I disagree, but you can call up and we can talk about it. Because I don't think that the soul exists, and I think that death is the separation of your consciousness from existence. I think that you cease to exist. Not even going to know that you're dead. Not going to know anything. You're just going to cease to exist. Like, nobody that has ever died knows that they're dead. Right? You knew that you were going to die when you were conscious, etc., but you do not know that you're dead because you don't exist. Just like before you were born, you didn't know that you weren't born yet. You just didn't exist. You didn't have a consciousness. Oh, man. Yeah, so how's everybody doing out there? Any questions, comments, concerns? We got about 20 people watching right now. Didn't know if you guys had any questions or comments I could answer for you, or if you want to call up, be a guest. I'm taking atheist and theist callers, by the way. This person, sorry, I can't read Arabic. It says, do you believe the universe is eternal? I'm kind of agnostic on it, to be honest. I'm not really sure where I fall, but I'm falling towards the probability that it more than likely is or has always been eternal. More than likely. But can I really defend that position very well right now? I honestly can't. I really can't defend that very well right now. But give me a couple weeks. I'm going to look into it more. All right. Let me scroll back on some more comments that I may have missed here. Oh, Ringo asked a while ago, what's my field of expertise? It's hard to say, I mean, I've done every occupation under the sun, to be honest. But I don't know. I worked in childcare for a long time. I did pet nutrition. So I'm pretty versed on like dog and cat nutrition. Got some certifications with that. Yeah, I don't know. Lots of stuff. I guess. Define expertise. David asks, how is this from random coincidence? That's just the way, probabilities work, man. Is that sometimes stuff happens. If it's possible that it could happen, then it could happen, and it happened. Like, I don't know what else you want me to tell you. These are all questions, by the way, so far that all these theists are asking in the comments. These are all questions that you should be asking, like Ringo said earlier, experts. You guys should be asking, maybe some astrophysicists these questions, or maybe some biologists or philosophers. Like I'm just a regular old guy on the internet here. Probably not the greatest source for information, unless you want to, talk about debunking Christianity, because I can definitely go there, because you don't need to be an expert to do that. Pretty easy. All right. Looks like we finally have a guest request. Before I take the first guest, first of all, thanks for calling up. Secondly, just know that I'm going to ask you how old you are when you pop up. You got to be, I'm going to ask you if you're over 18. And if you say no, then I'm going to drop you. And you won't be allowed up again. And also don't violate any community guidelines. If you violate any community guidelines here on TikTok or on YouTube, because this is going on YouTube by end of day today, then I will have to drop you. Not only drop you, but I will just block you altogether from all of my content, and you will never be able to call up again. Okay? That's the only thing I ask. But that being said, people can lie about their age. Absolutely. But, sometimes you can weed out the liars. It's not hard to do. All right, Nicodemus.
Yo,
Hey, before we get started, how old are you?
23.
Cool. What's up? What you got for me?
Yeah, I'm looking at this statement you made, God is as real as Santa Claus. What do you mean by that?
So like how Santa Claus, do you believe that Santa Claus exists?
No.
Okay. Yeah, me neither. And I think that God is the same. Like, I just don't believe in God. I think he's I would even argue that there's probably more evidence for Santa Claus than there is for a God. But that's a
So what's the argument that God doesn't exist?
I don't need to have an argument. I think that theists have just failed to present sufficient evidence to convince me. So it's not that I can say for a fact that there are no gods, right? Like, I can't prove to you that there is no God. I just think that you can't prove that there is one.
Yeah, that's just a bait and switch fallacy.
Okay. So, okay, sure. Whatever. Do you have
So
any
you
evidence
understand
that, so what God do you
do
believe
you
in?
understand you're being fallacious?
So what God do you believe in?
Do you understand you're being fallacious?
I'll ask you one more time. Okay. So what God do you believe in?
Can this be a dialogue where I ask a question, you answer, and you can ask me after?
No, because I'm not interested in the whole like meta stuff. So like, let's just move on with the conversation, okay? So like,
If you're being
you're
fallacious, that's when you're
Christian,
being
right?
disingenuous.
So
So why would I
you're
discuss with somebody that's intellectually
hey,
dishonest?
hello. So what God do you believe in?
Why would I discuss with somebody that's intellectually dishonest?
You called up to my live, so I mean, you must want to have a conversation unless you want to run.
Well, with somebody that's honest about their answer. You understand when you're being intellectually dishonest and fallacious.
Okay,
That's
so
what that
what's
means. I
what
cannot have
God
a
do you believe in?
conversation. Okay, so he's basically not understanding. Oh, I'm just gonna leave you.
So, oh, poor baby, he ran because he just wanted to do the meta thing. I just want to talk about fallacies when I never made a fallacy. It's not a bait and switch fallacy. Like, it's welcome to the internet, buddy. Welcome. It's the internet. This up here that you see, it's called clickbait. You ever hear that? It's clickbait. It's the internet, my dude. Are you new here? This is called like so we don't have to adhere to this topic up here. It's like, something to get people to stop and notice the conversation and get the gist of what exactly I'm trying to get across, right? Also a little bit of satire. It's kind of funny. It's not that deep, man. You don't have to go into the meta thing. It's just not that deep, really. Like you're doing this whole like filibro shit. Like, just, I was asking you a pretty simple question. What God do you believe in? Like, let's move past the meta stupid stuff that nobody cares about, right? Because nobody cares, okay, about this prompt stuff up here. Nobody cares. You do, but we can talk about that, right? But going down like the meta stuff, but just complaining about me, not interested, man. And I was just asking you for evidence that your God exists, or more specifically, I was asking you what God you believe in, because you never even got to tell me. You ran before you could tell me. Like, yeesh. I'm sure your God would be very, very embarrassed of you. Sure would be. Oh, poor guy. Samantha says, "Hi, I'm Gnostic, ex-Christian. What's your opinion on Gnosticism?" Don't really have much of an opinion on Gnosticism. I haven't really looked too much into it. But the Gnosticists that I've partially spoken with are Philibro condescending assholes. So it's not a very good look. They all think that they like know what they're talking about. Like, so, like bottom line is like, is Gnosticism not just like still being Christian? Is that like not what that is? Because that's kind of my understanding, is that you just, it's fancy for saying like, that God exists, right? And that you can prove it or something. I don't know. It's very, very vague. Never really cared enough to look into it because I think it's kind of stupid. Just Philibro nonsense. Ian Davis says, "Oh, I was going to ask to join." Well, Ian, you can click on the little blue and red guy down here somewhere, and you can request to be a guest. We believe that God is a demiurge, not the true living source, which is the pleroma. Yeah, it's Philibro nonsense. Yeah, it's nonsense. Just what I thought. Hey, before we get started, are you over 18?
Hello. I am indeed. I'm 48.
Cool. All right, right on. What's up?
Well, it's kind of pointless joining really because I'm on your side, so I
No,
don't
that's
believe in
fine.
any of it as well. But it was before I got to you, there was almost on the same line as flat earthers. There was a guy trying to prove that if you put a balloon in the vacuum, it expands until it explodes because the pressure on the inside is larger than the outside. So he was trying to say that then space couldn't be a vacuum because then the Earth, the atmosphere of the Earth, would expand and explode and we'd all die. And I'm just like, I don't understand how people cannot understand physics.
Yeah,
It's
that's
quite
not
really,
how that works. Like I'm no genius over here, and it's pretty obvious that that's not how that works.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we can prove the Earth and we can prove our atmosphere. We're living in it, but yet we know that space is a vacuum,
Mm-hmm.
so it works. But he was trying to say it can't be like. Yeah, it's just weird. It's just, and it's the same when you come to Christianity and God and religion. It's there. I kind of find it strange. I mean, look, you want to believe in something, yeah, that's great, fantastic. Have it. That's absolutely fine. But then it's the blind sort of faith. It's like, can you not? Do you not feel that you need to question things and say, well, hold on a second, could that have actually happened? And then start questioning things, but they don't. They just blindly believe it and go,
Yeah.
oh no, well, that's definitely what happened because it's written in a book. It's like, well, there's lots of things written in the books that didn't actually happen. But again, okay, you've read it in the book, question it and see if you can find answers. But you can't with any religion. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Yeah, a lot of people just like read the words on the page and take it as truth because it's, they're already taught that like the words on these pages are like the word of God or whatever. And, so they automatically accept before they even open the book, they already accept that the book is true. So, I mean, once you're convinced of that, I mean, you're willing to accept any absurd, thing, to be true. So, I mean, that's why like, Christians can be so easily convinced that, people 2000 plus years ago had magic superpowers, but they don't anymore today. And it's really silly, but, yeah, man, I agree with you. I think it's pretty funny.
it just I don't. It's almost like humanity is split into sort of two. I mean, there's like followers people who just can't seem to work out. They don't question anything. They're told something and oh, that's it. It must be. It's true then. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's the other half of the population who are like, well, hold on a second. That doesn't sort of my experience in life and the things that I've seen doesn't marry up. I mean, a lot of things can be explained, I think, when Christians always say, well, how can you make nothing from nothing? And it's like, well, you can't make nothing from nothing. That's an impossibility. So there had to have been something. We don't go back far enough. I mean, the amount of time we've been on this planet is such a small amount of time. It's almost insignificant. I mean, it's crazy how
Mm-hmm.
short of time humanity has actually been on this planet. But you can explain those things away with chaos theory because it's chaos. So the way that I try to explain it, because one of my friends is a Christian, like a born again Christian. He was never Christian, and then he got brainwashed by a good friend of his, and then went to America and came back a totally different person. It was so weird. Anyway, second story. So chaos theory. So the way that I explain to people is, do you know the game that's called Yahtzee?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. So you've got 5 dice, and you keep rolling the dice, and different combinations come up. But every so often, you get all the numbers that are the same. So that's Yahtzee. And it's exactly the same with how the world came here. So nobody really knew what was here beforehand, because obviously there was nobody around to see it. So my theory is, and it is just a theory, it could be completely wrong, but I think there was quite possibly the only thing that kind of makes sense to me, knowing what we know about the universe and everything else, is that there was a huge star here somewhere that collapsed in on itself and created a black hole. It then spent trillions of billions of years, how long, who knows, sucking loads of stuff in from space, until eventually it sucked something in. It was the right chemical composition that when it got to the center of the black hole, whatever happens, the pressure and the heat and the mass caused a chemical reaction or chain reaction for that black hole to literally explode, and that was our Big Bang. If that makes sense. And then from there,
that's a
everything's
fun little theory.
all spewed out from there. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, nobody really knows, but that's from what we know about black holes and stars imploding and black holes being made, because we know how that works. That's the only kind of logical thing that I can think of that would kind of, because obviously you can't just have a Big Bang in space with nothing, because science doesn't work like that. You've got to have a chemical reaction of some description.
Yeah. So, and I just did a quick Google search on like what exactly chaos theory was, just so I could like look at an exact definition. And so what it says here, it says chaos theory studies complex dynamic systems that appear random but follow underlying deterministic rules, revealing hidden order like fractals through concepts like the butterfly effect, where tiny changes in initial conditions cause massive unpredictable differences later, like a tornado, for example. It's basically like the butterfly effect or fractals, deterministic chaos. It's really interesting. Yeah,
it's the same thing with another way of describing it is like with the lottery. So you guys have got the lotto over there. I think you call it or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. So over here we've got it in the UK, because welcome one from the UK. So we've got, I think it's 5 numbers on our main lotto. At some point of time, the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will come up. That's guaranteed.
Yep.
That's chaos theory. So it might take 1 billion years. It might take 10 billion years. It might be tomorrow. Nobody knows. But at some point of time, that sequence will come in. And then that's exactly the same way as how life started on the planet.
Yeah. Basically, people winning the lottery is basically proof of chaos theory.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how life started on Earth. Different chemicals came together, and eventually, through who knows what, the exact right composition came in, and then suddenly you had the primordial soup, which then harbinged life and the first single cell organisms. And then from there, again, same thing. It keeps mixing, and eventually something is just in the exact perfect sequence that something else happens. And from there, now we're here. And it's the same with how our solar system got here. After the Big Bang, things got flung out, and some things got close enough to this sun that just got caught in its gravitational pull and started orbiting it. It's just chaos theory. It could have happened. It couldn't have happened. It just so happens that ours was just at the right, perfect distance away to be able to harbinge life on the Earth. So there's definitely no God.
All that boiled down to and also God
exactly.
isn't real.
Yeah, basically, because all the things you read in the Bible and stuff, it's just like, no, it doesn't. That's not how things work. Because I mean, really, when you look at the Bible, it all started off with Adam and Eve, which then means we're basically all incestuous. Because we all come from the same people. It's like, how? But then, of course, the Bible explains that away, because suddenly he magicked out. Because Cain and Abel were the first children, which were whatever. And then suddenly there were some other people who had just magically appeared, but we never really told where they came from. Did he make them from dust of the earth as well, or a rib from somebody else? Who knows? They just magically appeared. Because as soon as you start saying, "Oh, we're all incestuous," then we're all. And then people are, no, that's you can't do that. No.
Listen, you're preaching to the choir here. I know the Bible is comically false. Literally from page 1, damn near sentence 1. all the way
Yeah.
up to the very end. Yeah, it's continuously, contradicts itself and, makes false statements about
Yeah.
reality and history, etc.
And
But hey,
then
man, listen, I appreciate the conversation. I'm gonna let you go for now, so I can move on to. I think I have another guest in here that was loaded up. But I hope you have a Merry Christmas.
you too. Yeah. Have a good
Yep,
Christmas
have a
and
good one.
stay safe.
Yeah, you too. Thank
Bye.
you. W. Ian. Can I get some W's in the chat for Ian? Cool guy. SHX. Bible is the truth. What do you mean? It is definitely not. Definitely not. Definitely not. But you can call it. We can talk about why it's not. I'd be interested to go through it. I always love talking about how the Bible is false. Always fun. Why shouldn't it? There's only love in it. That is not true. You tell me you haven't read the Bible without saying it. Do you think slavery is love? Do you think God commanding slavery and giving laws and orders on how to treat your slaves is loving? Do you think that God telling people to unalive people who do not believe in God is loving? I did read the Old Testament, but it's the Old Testament. Oh, so you just don't know what you're talking about then. So Matthew 5:17 says that Jesus, this is Jesus speaking, by the way. He says, I did not come to abolish the law of Moses or the teachings of the prophets, but to fulfill them, and until their purposes are achieved, which they were not, until all of their purposes were achieved. Sorry. Not a single word of God's law shall change until heaven and earth disappear. So as far as I know, heaven and earth are still here. I mean, earth is still here at the very fucking least. I mean, I know heaven isn't there because it's not real, but earth is here, still on it. And Jesus did not fulfill all of the prophecies. He didn't fulfill a single one, not even one. So yeah, you still have to follow the laws of the Old Testament according to what Jesus says. So, are you saying that you're going to disobey Jesus? Or are you going to say that you love slaves? Because can't have both. SHX. Yeah, let's see if I can send you. Sorry guys, I had a guest that was loaded up in here. And then right when I went to look at it, the guest must have retracted their invite. So they're not there anymore. SHX. Here, I'll send you an invite, SHX. SHX, you're not 18. Sorry, please please decline that invite. Sorry, can't have you up here. But thank you for being truthful at least. Do appreciate that. Raise your hand if you have ever saved animals and Johnny babies. God. No. No. That's funny. All right, well, let's read over some Christmas facts here while we're waiting for some guests to call up in here. Did you know that the origins of Santa Claus originates from Saint Nicholas, a 4th century Greek bishop from Turkey, and he was known for secret generosity. So, like, basically, he was helping people without being wanting to be known for it, type of thing. He was helping people in secret. Didn't like the publicity of it, so he'd help people in secret. And supposedly, quote unquote, I don't know if this is true or not. This is a story that was told about him. He supposedly saved 3 poor girls from I don't think I could say this word on here, from being on the streets as women, if you get what I'm saying, by dropping gold in their stockings right? Because people would dry their stockings over the fireplace, and you put gold in their stockings, right? And that's how he would pay these girls so that they didn't have to go out on the streets. Supposedly, don't know if that's a true story or not, but it is a story that is told in tradition. Did you know that also the whole Santa Claus riding on the sleigh with the reindeer and stuff like that? That's based off of the Norse god Odin riding. I might pronounce this wrong. Riding Sleipnir, which is you know like a Jesus Christ. Let me. Oh my God. See, I should have had this information. There we go. Isn't Sleipnir like a? Yeah, he's a horse. Yeah, he's a horse. Yeah, okay. I couldn't think if it was like some sort of unicorn or like actually a reindeer, but yeah, it says he's just an 8-legged horse. It's pretty dope. Anyways, going on. Yeah, riding on Sleipnir and the house spirits. Odin obviously has contributed to like having a beard and gift bearing and basically like winter kind of associations, associated with winter. And obviously the Americanization of Sinterklaas was brought by Dutch settlers to New York in the 1800s. All of Jesus's teachings are about love and peace. I disagree. Where did he say not to own slaves? Where's that verse? I would love to see that one. Jordan Vertago says, hey, bruh, thoughts about Neil deGrasse Tyson? He's a pretty cool guy. He's cool. I don't know. Smart. I read his book, like Astrophysics for Dummies or something like that. I think that's what it's called. I read that once upon a time when it first came out, like 6 or 7 years ago or something. I read it. It was pretty good. I don't really remember it too much. What about his stance on religion? Thoughts about that? Isn't he atheist? Mr. Benjamin, please don't. Let's not. Like, I'm 30 here. I'm too old for that. You are definitely too old to be doing that as well, based on what I see in your profile. So please don't do that. Yeah, you know what? Good idea. Good idea. Actually, I think I will mute Mr. Benjamin for 5 minutes because that stuff is stupid. We're not going to do that. 6'7", 6'7". Like, come on, man. All right, we are at 48 minutes for this live here. I was reading some Christmas facts here. Sorry, I heard a weird sound. Needed to make sure my my cat wasn't eating something behind me. Did you know that Jesus wasn't born on Christmas Day? So in Luke 2:8, it mentions shepherds watching flocks at night. But in Judea, in ancient Judea, well, not even ancient Judea, in Judea, December is cold, wet, and snowy, right? So this forces sheep. What is that noise? Hearing a weird noise. Don't know what that was. Sorry. Anyways, it forces the sheep into shelters, not open fields. So I mean, this is showing the context of the time period, that it just doesn't make sense that sheep should be like grazing right now. And a Roman census, as stated in Luke 2:1-4. Would have been difficult in winter, and it was more likely held in warmer, more convenient seasons like spring or fall. That's why typically people seem to think that Jesus' birth date was more than likely in like spring to late summer, or spring to late spring, like almost summer. Early Christians adopted December 25th to coincide with the Roman winter solstice festivals like Sol Invictus. celebrating the unconquered sun, quote unquote, to help convert pagans to Christianity. So again, yet another thing that Christians stole from pagans, to convert pagans into Christians. Because if they didn't convert, they were just gonna them. So yeah, just a couple of Christmas facts there for you on this wonderful Christmas Eve of December 2025. Got my McDonald's Coca-Cola, nice crisp Coca-Cola. Doesn't snow where? Oh, in Palestine? I don't know, does it? I don't know. It does. It says Jerusalem, Hebron, and Ramallah above about 600 meters elevation. A little bit more mountainous areas, it snows. And it says snow's uncommon, but it does happen. It does happen once in a while. So there actually was a giant snowstorm in December of 2013 and January 2022 that literally paralyzed the city, covered holy sites, and caused road closures. So it definitely can snow quite a bit in Palestine, given it's not super common. If Jesus wasn't born on December 25th, does that change the meaning of his message or his existence? Not necessarily. No, I could care less like when he was born. It's just kind of a fun thing to look at. That's obviously another false thing that the Bible explains, or that Christians created, another false thing. Yeah, I mean, who cares what he was teaching? He was not teaching anything like unique during the time period. Literally everything he was preaching about, you can find in earlier religious texts and societal norms. Nothing unique. Aircraft and Pateo says, so mountains. No, you're not. You didn't listen. Did you not hear the part where it says big snowstorms like those in 2013 and 2022 paralyzed cities and covered holy sites? That's not in mountain. Do you think come on now. Buddy, Google is free. I literally just typed in, does it snow in Palestine? And it says yes. It's not hard. Sunny Sam 80, Jesus did not exist. Sorry. He did not. I'm a mythicist. I have plenty of notes on that, too, if you want to converse that. I'd be happy to turn you into a mythicist. Mythicism is the only genuine position on Jesus' existence. And I'll watch. Everyone in the comments is going to say, Jesus existed, and no one's going to give me any evidence he existed. Or they're going to quote Josephus. Bet you $100. Oh, whoa, this is weird. Oh, that's fun. I don't know, I'm just clicking around on stuff right now, and my computer's doing weird stuff. Well, this is fun. I mean, I haven't had a whole lot of callers. Oh, by the way, Mr. Benjamin sent me a rose. Thanks, Mr. Benjamin. Sorry I had to mute you. I'm just like, come on. I'm not doing the 6'7" stuff, dude. I'm too old for that. I think it's so stupid. It makes no sense. Not to say that like stuff I did as a child was stupid, wasn't stupid and didn't make sense. Like I remember when Real Talk came out. First time I heard the phrase real talk, that was in my freshman. My dog's upset. She's all moaning because she wants to do something directly behind me. Anyways, yeah, Real Talk. First time I heard it was in my freshman economics class. and some kid was getting in trouble by the teacher, and and he said, yeah, real talk, whatever, and everyone laughed at him because everyone was like, what the fuck does real talk mean? Like real, like what is really talking? Like I think it's funny how these like weird just things that come out of our mouths turn into like, cultural sayings. It's very weird. Humans are weird, man. We're really weird. How's everybody doing out there? Everybody doing all right? Maybe we can run through some more Christmas facts while we're waiting for another guest to call up here. How do you guys feel about that? Another Christmas fact? All right, let's talk about Christmas trees. The Christmas tree origins blend ancient pagan winter solstice traditions with 16th century German Christian customs. And by the way, all this is as simple as a Google search, by the way. Like, again, Google is free. Should you trust everything that Google says? No, but it's a source to get to reliable sources. It's a domino that falls in finding what's true, right? So come on, people who say that they don't use Google are fucking liars. You're a liar. Everyone uses Google. Anyways, Christmas trees. Christmas tree origins blend ancient pagan winter solstice traditions with 16th century German Christian customs, where evergreens symbolize eternal life. German immigrants brought the decorated trees to America, but it gained widespread popularity in Britain and the U.S. after Queen Victoria and Prince Albert popularized it in the 1840s. So Christmas trees are only, when you think about it, like what, 250 years old-ish, 260, 270-ish. So in pagan Europe, they would celebrate things... sorry, my notes are all mixed up here. So symbolism. Evergreens represented fertility, protection from evil spirits, and rebirth in pagan traditions. So again, this is yet another thing that Christians stole from pagans to try to convert pagans into Christianity by incorporating some of their customs into it, and it made it a little bit easier for a transition and a little bit easier for them to transition, because if they didn't, again, they would so kind of didn't really have much of a choice, but it made it a little bit more of a comfortable transition into Christianity, forced conversion into Christianity, should I say. Yeah, that's a little bit about those. Vikings actually used evergreens to symbolize life conquering winter darkness, believe it or not. That's really fun. Yeah, so that's Christmas trees for you. Merry Christmas, by the way. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. If you're watching over on YouTube still, even though I've only had 2 guests today, thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. If you're watching live over on TikTok, thank you very much for joining in. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be going for, I don't really know how much longer. I'm just kind of vibing out right now until I get tired of hearing my own voice. And that usually takes a while for me to get tired of hearing my own voice. Let's be honest. So, yeah, we're going to chill out for a little bit longer. Man, my shoulder, I really hurt my shoulder the other day. I actually went to urgent care yesterday. Left work early so I could go to urgent care because my shoulder is like terrible. So I was diagnosed with acute shoulder tendonitis, which there's no cure for that, of course. I guess I had, the only thing I can do for it is physical therapy and ibuprofen, Motrin. That's all I can do about this. So, yeah, I just kind of have to live with the fact that I will probably never really be able to use my shoulder the way that I used to as a kid. I just was trying to play guitar yesterday. Bad idea. That shit hurt. Just trying to play some guitar, trying to play a couple chords. And man, that really hurt. I do got to say. And it still hurts really bad. I can't lift my arm much higher than like literally where it is right now. I can't really lift it. Yeah, Kane, I am taking friendly guests. I'm taking any and all callers today. We're talking about anything that you guys want to for a Christmas stream. I would love to talk to some theist callers because it's always so fun, but we'll talk to anybody. With that being said, before I take you, Kane, just know that I'm going to ask you if you're over 18. If you say no, I'm going to drop you. We'll move on to the next guest. And if you violate any community guidelines here on TikTok or on YouTube, because this will be posted on YouTube by end of day today, December 24th of 2025. If you violate any of those community guidelines, I will have to not only drop you as a guest, but I will block you altogether so that you will never see any of my content ever again. Okay. So just warning you, no big deal. I'm sure you're friendly, but we'll bring you up. Hey, before we get started, are you over 18? Did you say yes?
Yes, sir. I'm 52 years old.
Okay, cool. What's up? What's going on?
Not much. I do a similar live stream myself, doing practicing, encouraging critical thinking and having philosophical discourse about religion and human rights.
Cool.
The other day when I was on my live stream, I realized that like a half a dozen people from my local town were in there wanting to debate me. Have you ever had that happen to you, and how would you respond?
Oh, super interesting. So there are people like, did you know any of these people, or did they just like know
Oh
you
yeah,
were in the
no,
area?
yeah, three of them are the local police officers. One of them was somebody I worked with, and other two, yeah, the other two were customers of mine that come into my job.
Ooh, that's really interesting. Um, Man, I mean, well, I guess I'll ask too. Like, were they friendlies or were they up for a fight?
No, I'm one of the few outspoken atheists in an apostolic Christian town of
Oof.
population maybe 2,000. So it was real. It was nerve-wracking for me. I was scared.
Yeah. Yeah, no, no doubt. That sounds like that might catch me off guard too if a bunch of people I knew started calling in. But what I can tell you is from my experience, like I've when I was a smaller creator, like right now I'm approaching 130,000 followers, but when I had maybe 50 or 60,000. I had a lot of my coworkers at my old job because it was a very small, it was a local company that I worked at, a local pet store. So they had like only a couple stores. I knew like basically everyone in the company type of thing. And they found my content and they started commenting on my stuff and like saying where I worked on like my lives and stuff. And so I just started literally blocking my coworkers because like I was growing as a channel and these people, I was a local, there's only so many places to look if you're saying where this pet store was. So yeah, that definitely freaked me out, and I just honestly just blocked all of them. Every single person who I thought knew who I was, I blocked all of them. And even to this day, if I find my coworkers online before you find me, I block you. Whether it's on my personal Facebook, my professional Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. If I find you first, you're blocked. And that goes like for my new job too. And there actually was I haven't had a whole lot of experience of people like calling in like you were having. I've had some people recognize me on the street. Like I had like I literally was just like walking around at like a pride event or something this past year, and a guy was like, "Hey, you're that guy, that Calvin guy I saw," and it was really cool. Luckily he was a friendly, but that was nice. And there's actually a situation I had at my new job where a lot of my new coworkers were, because at this point I had over 100,000 followers at starting this new job, and I live in a very heavily very heavily religious community that is not Christian. Believe it or not, it's actually mostly a Muslim community. And a lot of my coworkers were finding my stuff, and they went to HR about it. And I actually did get spoken to from my HR department about it, and I was actually like scared I was gonna get fired, but my HR department was like, "Listen, man, like we don't care what you do outside of work. Like these people have their opinions. They told us that they find it offensive, but we don't care. So we just wanted to let you know that we're on your side." So it was actually really comforting for my company to say, "Listen, we're with you on this one. Like we will push these people away because if they want to be offended by what you do outside of work that isn't causing any harm to anybody, that's totally on them. We're on your side." So like I was scared for a minute. And yeah, it is scary when people like recognize you and stuff like that. So I mean, I guess I wouldn't really have a whole lot of advice other than to just like, be the bigger person, I guess. Like if I ever do come across someone who I know or whatever, and a lot of my coworkers that I currently work with know that I do this, and like, that we're kind of friendly and stuff with it. And just being cordial with them, just let them know like, hey, that's my internet persona. That's what I do. It's my second job, basically. And that's just what I do, and I mean, if they want to be mad about that, they can be mad about it, I guess. I have plenty of people who I know personally who don't really support what I do, but we can still be chill with each other anywhere else.
Well, like I said, it caught me off guard, and
Yeah.
what I did is I silenced all my moderators because usually I have a panel, so I silenced everyone, and I dealt with them cordially, respectfully, but firmly on my points, and made sure that I was only attacking ideas and that I showed human dignity and respect. And so I think it went over well, but we shall see in the coming days. I only got like 8K followers, so you're way more advanced and experienced in this than I am, and that's why I was just wondering, what was your take on it?
Yeah, for sure. And hey, I'll give you a follow back. So now you got 8,308 followers. So
I appreciate you. Yeah, I've been following you for quite a while. I
cool.
definitely appreciate your approach, man. And I don't want to take up too much of your time, but you have a Merry Christmas, sir.
Yeah, man. Thanks. I appreciate it. You have a good one. I'll make sure to tune into one of your lives sometime soon.
I appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
For sure. You too. Merry Christmas. Cool. Hey, W's in the chat for Kane. Go give Kane a follow, by the way. It sounds like he's really doing the hard work, helping us atheists out with spreading some logic and reason around here. So go give Kane a follow on my behalf and tell him that I sent you. It sounds like he's doing God's work over there. So sounds cool. Ichthus Prime, could I have sued for that? No, not really, because I was not. If it led to me being terminated from my job, then yes, I could have, but there's no reason to. My job is on my side, and they said that they'll defend me as long as obviously there's other things like behind that. If I'm like inciting violence or something like that, then it's different, right? Then HR would have to interact or influence on me or something. But we're totally chill, not a big deal. But yeah, I've gotten recognized out in public like a couple times. It was pretty interesting. I think three times I've been recognized in public. Twice at a Pride event, and then once 2 different Pride events, and then another time I was at a meeting. So Michigan Atheists is an atheist community around me that I used to work with after this interaction. But anyways, yeah, I went to this like meeting for Michigan Atheists, and I walk in and someone is like, "Whoa, you're Calvin. You're Unquestionable Calvin. I'm here because of you." And I was like, "Whoa, really? Like that's crazy. Like that's really awesome." So it was really nice. And like we sat together and chatted a little bit and, exchanged phone numbers and stuff. So I made a friend there too. So, yeah, really interesting. I love being recognized. If you guys ever see me in public, say hi. Feel free to say hi. I'd love to, chat with you about stuff. I'm just a regular guy who likes to talk about stuff. So, if you want to talk about anything, we can do that. Yeah. Anyways, see if we got some more comments in here. Why isn't doxing illegal? I agree. It should be illegal. It's basically like defamation, like I feel like you can make like a defamation case with it. No, but, no, I will never say like where I'll say where I used to work. I used to have a bunch of different jobs. But I will never like say what my current occupation is, right? That's stupid. Like, I'm not dumb. I'm not ratting myself out. All that you guys are getting from me is that I am making a living off it. And I don't mind it. Don't mind it. As jobs go, it's not bad. How do you guys like my lights in the background, by the way? Can you tell this is green? I guess you can kind of tell that the top is green up here a little bit. Just the camera makes it kind of, it's like really like vibrant green in here, right? For me, like that is green here. But when I look at it on the camera, it's like yellowish, and I can't really change that. Like, this is the deepest green it gets. I have a lighter green. If I change it, it'll mess up my lighting. But I have a lighter green, but it comes up as yellow on the camera. I tried it last night. But hey, how do you guys like the Christmas lights back here? I tried something new. I figured I would kind of set up something a little bit. You know, I don't know. This has been a fun little stream. We haven't had a whole lot of callers, but I enjoy just kind of being here, being present. We got 10 people sitting in here. If you're a theist, feel free to call up. If you're an atheist, feel free to call up. We can talk about whatever. Yeah, not give out past jobs. No, you're right. No, you're totally right. People will definitely do their little, I don't know, their creepy stalking stuff. But it doesn't bother me. Ba-do-do-do. I only got 2 Christmas gifts. Oh no, it's okay. It's fine. I don't need gifts. It's suggested, not even suggested. It's welcomed, but not required. I'm just happy that you guys are here. I'm just happy that you guys are here watching. Really, I'm glad that I get to do this. I'm glad that I made it to 30 years old because I had a couple close calls here and there where I didn't think I was going to make it out of that. You know, I'm thankful for the people that I do have in my life and the followers. Yeah, I'm really happy with how things have been going so far, and with the support of everyone in my life who does support me, and you know, the love that I get from my followers. I really appreciate. Seriously, I can't say it enough how much I appreciate everybody who follows, because really the reason why I started doing lives and doing this in general, like really the reason why I started doing this was because I was depressed. You know, I was depressed and I had so much stuff that I wanted to talk about with other people, but I've really never had like in real life friends. Never. Really never. As a kid I did, obviously, but like pretty like straight up once I turned 18 and graduated, all friends dipped. Right. So I've pretty much I was alone. And so I turned to conspiracy theories for comfort because I feel like I could talk to like these weirdos on the internet about some weird shit and it would be fun. But yeah, that eventually turned into me just like having so much stuff that I wanted to talk about with so many people and just felt like my voice wasn't getting heard, that I was like, fuck it, I'm going to start a podcast. Fuck it, I'm going to start a podcast. So I sat down in my closet in my second apartment, went to my closet, closed the door, great sound cancellation in there, and I held my phone up and I recorded my first ever podcast on my cell phone with my laptop. This one, actually, this exact laptop, being used for notes. No, actually, it wasn't this laptop. It was a Chromebook. I had a fucking Google Chromebook. That's what my first laptop that I had that I couldn't record on the laptop. That's why I used my phone. Yeah, and I recorded my first episode like that, and it was amazing. I felt great after it. I did re-record it like multiple times, probably 3 or 4 times. I re-recorded the entire thing. And it felt great. I was like, dude, I want to do this. And then I posted it. People watched it and listened to it. And I was getting comments and questions and responses. And I was like, dude, I love this. This is so fun. What if I incorporate talking to real people instead of just me talking to myself? And so then I got the equipment to where I could talk to people online. And then it got to where I wasn't totally believing those people who were talking to me online. So how about if I debate these people on whether they actually have good reason and evidence to defend these things? And then it grew into this. It grew into me bringing myself out of conspiracy theories, bringing myself out of Christianity, gaining a following, and just, you know, doing this literally as a part-time job. I'm having a ton of fun doing it. And again, it's not about making any money at all. I have been doing this well before I was making any money. I'm not making any fucking big bucks right now. I'm not paying no bills with it. I'm just happy that I get to have these conversations. I have the pleasure to have these conversations with people. It's so much fun. I really love doing it. I'm really thankful for everyone who's currently watching right now. If you've made it an hour and 15 minutes into this live, I really appreciate you. Seriously. We're going to give this a little bit longer because I do want to get maybe one more guest up in here if I can. And then maybe we can move on. Or maybe I can move on, end the live. Just as you know, guys, this will be posted up on YouTube by end of day today. I know we didn't have a whole lot of callers, but I did promise a Christmas stream, and god damn it, this is it. So this is what you're getting. Do you think it's harmful to younger people by saying God ain't real, says Gritty Bone? No. No. Do you think it's harmful to younger people to say that Santa isn't real? No. Maybe at first, right? Like maybe if they believe that Santa's real, it might hurt at first. It might hurt their feelings. But I think that knowing what is true is more important than your fifis. So, yeah. I think, we should be telling people that gods don't exist unless you can prove that they exist. If you can prove that they exist, then yeah, you're totally warranted in saying that. But saying that God exists, and then when I say, okay, prove it, and then you say, oh, but faith, and you just got to have faith, and you just got to believe, and you just got to read the Bible, you're clowning. You're clowning, bro. Like, that's harmful. Especially when those beliefs in invisible magic men in the sky are telling you how many people you can own as property and who you can own, how long you can keep them for, and how much they're worth and dollar amount, and where you can take them from, and then what you should do with women, how you should treat your children if they talk back to you. And not cool. You're the one that doesn't have evidence that he doesn't exist to say that he doesn't exist. First of all, I used the wrong your. It's Y-O-U-R-E. You are. Hey, thank you, Patient, for the heart. I appreciate you. Yeah, you're right. I don't have evidence that God doesn't exist. And you don't have evidence that he does. The difference here being that I'm not making a definitive claim that gods do not exist, right? Like, do you bat an eye when I say Voldemort doesn't exist? No. No one cares. No one cares if I say Voldemort doesn't exist. No one cares if I say leprechauns don't exist. No one requires more evidence of that. It's only when you say invisible magic men in the sky exist that people, for some reason, now require you to prove that he doesn't exist. Like, why are you drawing a line at if he's invisible and in the sky, and not if he's a little ginger man wearing green and putting pots of gold at the end of rainbows? Like, what is the difference here? I'm not getting it. I'm warranted in saying he doesn't exist until you prove that he does. So if you can prove that he does, then I'll look really stupid, right? I'll look really dumb. I would look really dumb right now. If you could call up here and prove that your invisible magic man in the sky exists, I would look really stupid. I would have to make an apology video. I'll do it. I'll make an apology video. If you call up here and prove that God exists, I'll do it. But you can't. You just can't. That's my position, is that you just can't. Unless you think you can. You're welcome to try. I'm here. That's the whole point of me being here, is that you can try to prove that God exists. Please, let's do it. Change my mind. But you can't do it, and you know it. That's why you won't call up. So. Wow, wow, wow. Check in on the Discord. Hey, guys, if you're not following on Discord, by the way, I do have a Discord server, which is linked in my bio. If you go to the little... Here, let me get my camera. If you go to this... Ooh, my arm. This little guy up here, my little picture up here. Go to my profile. You can find the link to my Discord server there. And it actually, currently, I have it set up to where it shares every time I share something on TikTok. It shares over on Discord. I'm wondering if there's a way. I'm trying to figure out like this Discord stuff. I wonder if there's a way that I can. Discord isn't showing. Well, you have to click on that, and then you have to click on, you know, my actual. You have to go to my actual profile. Is what I mean. Like you have to go to my like profile, right? And once you go to my actual profile, then you'll see my Discord server. So you gotta, yeah. My link tree is there in my Discord or in my blah blah blah. I'm getting mixed up on my words because I'm clicking on 5 different things here. But yeah, found the link, but it won't work. Oh no, I might have to put a new link in there. Well, yep, Ichthyeus, that's what it is. It's the link tree. You go to link tree, and then you hit the little Discord button guy. See, when I click it, it says UnquestionableCalvin has invited you to join UnquestionableCalvin. You hit accept invite, and then you're in the Discord server. Also, while you're on my link tree, you'll see a couple different links there. You'll see my PayPal link where you can click that, and you can send me a donation if you'd like. They're not required, but keeps changing links each time you copy it. Weird. You'll find my TikTok my TikTok channel. You'll find my whole podcast over on Spotify or directly under that, and also my original song. We got a good one here from Gritty Bones. Gritty Bones says, "Why is it the man who paints their fingernails always hating on God?" Is that an insult? I'm sorry that my fingernails hurt your widow feelings. Poor little baby. Do you think that there's guys who paint their nails who are theists? Do you think that there's theist men who exist who paint their fingernails? Also, Ichthyeus Prime, why are you trying to copy the links? Because, like I said, if you go to my... I'm just confused because if you go to my link tree, you click on the Discord server, there's no copying of any link. You just click on that and click accept invite. And then it tells me action cannot be completed because I'm already part of the server. But yeah, it should just let you right in. It's a lifetime link. Like it should work 24/7, 365. So I'm not sure why it's not working for you. Also, do you not like my Christmas nails? I did all green with one red and then all red with one green. Isn't that cute? Buddy, you should try painting your nails once in a while. It's the manly thing to do after all, because, you know, men created nail polish and for men, after all. Nail polish was actually typically used as a status symbol in ancient history. So typically like pharaohs and stuff would have red or black nails. That's really weird. I'm not sure why that's not working for you, Maze. Sorry about that. I'm not sure. I'll have to revisit my Discord link in a little bit, I guess. Not sure why, because I still have people who jump in there every now and then. You know, so obviously the link is working for somebody. Oh boy. All right. So let's see if we have any guest callers up in here. You know, this hasn't been an eventful live, but it's still been fun. I've still been having a good time, and so I've been here for an hour and 23 minutes so far. No guest requests. Nobody asking to come up. Well, I'll tell you what. I think I'll give this until 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So about 5 more minutes. If no callers in the next 5 minutes, I'll dip. Okay? But I do enjoy everyone for being here. You know, rocking out the live with me. I do appreciate it. Let's take a look. Just take a look in here, make sure I'm not missing anything. Let's go take a look at the YouTube channel, see how that's going. I don't post. I need to come up with some like original YouTube content. That's what I need to do.
How does someone go from...
Let's see. I'm at 1,000
How
and
does someone
damn
go
it.
from Christian...
I'm at 1,081 follow.
How does
or
someone
day,
go from...
God dang it. 1,081 subscribers on YouTube. I got a weird sound. I don't know if that was from... Oh, someone just joined the Discord. Oh, that must be you. Here, I'll say hi. So look at that. You finally got in. Cool, cool. Welcome in to my not super fun Discord server. I'm trying to get some more people up in here. So feel free to you just Googled it, but feel free to I don't know, ask some friends and family to get up in here. I need to have some more conversations, need some more people to talk to in here. My Discord has been an opportunity ever since I started my content creation stuff. Oh boy. Wow, wow. All right, let's check out Facebook. Thanks for the follow, Atheist. All right, UnquestionableCalvin. 1,019 followers. Got 1,019 followers over on Facebook. I think on Instagram, where am I at on Instagram here? I'm at 39,600 followers over on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure to give me a follow over there. Can I just say too that this is kind of off topic, but I got a crown on my my tooth. Maybe like a month and a half. And, man, that shit's still not good. I think I need a root canal. Oh God, shoulder. Will of Vanilla says, what's going on in your life? Work, lots of working. Playing some video games. I got a bunch of new video games recently that I'm trying to play through. Like I recently, I got Digimon Story, Time Stranger. Been playing through that. I got the new Pokemon ZA, so I'm playing through that also. I've got Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered that I just got, and what else did I get? Oh, and Mortal Kombat 1. I finally got Mortal Kombat 1. So, yeah, got lots of video games. Pet store? What about it? When did you figure out you were an atheist? I feel like I was probably atheist for longer than I think I was. It's just a matter of that, like, I wasn't, like, accepting it. When I first started like calling myself atheist, if someone asked or something, I was about 21. Yeah, about 2021. No, I do not work at a pet store. Not anymore. Yeah, so I mean, I guess I like accepted I was finally atheist at like 21, but I mean, I was questioning from like 14 up until then. share some verses. Why? Like in the Bible? Why? Are you still married? Yeah. Yep. My wife is at work right now. Actually, she unfortunately has to work for only 4 hours today. Well, she works 2 jobs, so she's gonna work her one job, and then her other job she actually can do at that. It's a long story, but she's basically working for like 5 hours today. So she'll be back home around 3. Would you be supportive if your children chose Jesus? I heard a sound. I feel like my cat just knocked something down. But yeah, sorry. Would you be supportive if your children chose Jesus? Yeah, sure. If I had kids, which I don't, and we don't plan on having kids, not anymore at least. Yeah, if my kids like came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm Christian. Jesus is my Lord and Savior," I'd say, "Great. You're welcome to believe that." If you ever want to have that conversation on why I don't believe that and why I think that it's bad that you do believe that, we can have that conversation. Just know that I think that that's silly, but you're welcome to believe that. But that's things that'd be really weird. It's honestly doesn't really make sense. Like if my kids would grow up in an atheistic household and then just one day they're like, "Hey, I'm Christian." Like, does that even happen? Does that happen? Oh yeah, Mazikeen. Is it Mazikeen? Mazikeen? I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to say that. My wife said hi to you in the Discord server. If you're still watching. You know, it's funny. When I was growing up, I thought that I loved VeggieTales. I had no freaking idea that VeggieTales was Christian ideology, like just being shoved down my throat. Had no idea, not even something that crossed my mind. I don't know if my mom knew. I just thought they were cute little computer generated vegetables dancing on and singing on the screen. Didn't see anything religious about it until I was like already atheist, right? And then like that's when I was like, oh, that was Christian that whole time. Never would have guessed. It's just so subtle to me. Yeah, we are well past the time where I said that I was going to log off of here if we didn't get any guests. We'll do one more look to see if we have any guests calling up. Don't make sure I don't want to miss anybody. Nope, we're good there. Beauty by Fumi says, how do you feel about children learning in Christian schools versus others, values, morals, etc.? I think that any morals or values that can be taught by Christianity can be taught without Christianity. You can teach people to be good people. You can teach people to treat others the way that you want to be treated, the golden rule, etc. You can teach those things without the extra supernatural baggage that Christianity and religion entails. So like, why not do that? All right, we had someone call up last minute, so we'll take a caller. Before I take this very last caller of the live stream, just know that if you break any community guidelines here on TikTok or on YouTube, because this will be posted post-production on YouTube later on today, 12/24/2025, then I will be forced to drop you, not only drop you, but cut you from the live altogether and to block you from my channel altogether so that you cannot call up ever again. So please do not violate any community guidelines. Please don't talk and drive. Also, I'm going to ask you if you're over 18. If you say no, then I will have to drop you as well. Hey, are you over 18?
Yes.
Cool. What's up?
How you doing, man? So I guess I just want to ask you, because I mean, I've seen in your videos and your clips, topic of discussion, if you want to have it. We could go the two that I'm interested in, why you think God negates free will or autonomy, or we could talk about how I'm kind of interested in like your moral framework with there being no God involved in that. And, you know, debating that in itself. But whichever one you might find more interesting to you, we could have.
You know, I don't know. I think they're both kind of equal in interest to me. So I mean, I guess I mean, if you
Okay.
want to kick one off, I mean, we can just go that
Okay,
way.
let's do the free will one. So I think it's, I understand the argument is that you say God is all knowing, right? So therefore there's a sort of negation of free will in humans. And I would counter argue by saying that's not really an argument. I mean, you're making like a huge logical leap of faith to say that you have God is all knowing, therefore you do not have free will.
Can you do
for
something that is
instance-
outside of God's will?
So hold on, we're already jumping ahead to something that's not on topic. So let me try to
No,
phrase
it's
this. So if
no,
God
it's
is all knowing,
no, it's
hold
on topic. It's just like, do
Okay,
you
sure,
think
but-
that if
Well, hold
I guess
on.
let's go this way. So like, do you think that God
Okay.
has a will, that like he has a plan? I guess you could say.
So here's where you're conflating two things now. You're conflating the idea of God's plan, which is something that's far different than God knowing, right? So God's plan is the idea that when God creates a human being, they have a plan for them. He has a plan for him or her.
So,
Meaning it's written in stone. God pre-decides what's going to happen to that person.
Okay.
I'm more interested in the argument that God, as a all-knowing entity, negates free will because God is all-knowing. So maybe that, I don't know which one's your argument, because if it's
Yeah.
if you
So
think
I'll
God
just
has-
I'll
okay.
just ask again. Do you think that you can do something that is outside of God's will?
Okay, so the presupposition is that God wills your life. So you have no real choice. God is pre-written, predestined, predetermined.
I'm just listen. I'm not into the filibro stuff, man. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just not
It's-
interested in it at all.
here's
I'm
the
just
problem,
like I
man.
just
It's-
want like a yes or no answer, please. Like, please talk to me like I'm 5. Is it possible
go
to
ahead.
go against God's will?
What do you mean by that? So is God's will on my life? That, I mean, here's
I'll
the thing
ask
that I'm
one
not.
more time. So, do you think that it's possible? Just yes or no, please. Do you think that's possible to go against God's will?
No.
Okay. So then there is no free will.
Okay, so again, right there, where you're saying, is it possible to go against God's will? So my question to you is, if you want to answer my question, when God has created me, did God predetermine and pre-write what's going to happen in my life? Meaning every decision I make, God willed it. Is that your position?
Somewhat. So basically where I come from is that if God is all knowing, right, he knows what you're going to do. Like, he knows whether you're going to, at age 32, that you're going to get married to Sally. He knows that you're going to pick the red shirt, not the blue shirt. He knows that you're going to eat the egg salad sandwich. He knows like what decision you're going to make before you know it, before you're even alive to possibly conceptualize that decision. He is already predetermined. Yeah, essentially he's predetermined. He already knows what you're going to do. And if you can't diverge from that knowledge that he has, like God can't know that you're going to pick the red shirt and then you pick the blue shirt, because we just both agreed that you can't go against God's will. And if God is all knowing, then that would basically be saying that God is not all knowing if you pick the blue shirt, not the red shirt, because he was wrong, and God can't be wrong about something, right? So then you don't actually have free will, because God already knows what you're going to do. So like, yes, you have the free choice to do this. You think you have it's conceptualized that you have the free choice to do this, when in all actuality, God already knew that you were going to do that anyways. So is it really a free choice if he already knows that you're going to do X, Y, Z, which will in turn, determine your entire reality? Like he basically already knows whether you're going to heaven or hell before you're even alive. That's
Okay,
where I'm
so
coming from.
I'd ask us to, maybe flash back just a little bit to what you said. You said God is all knowing, therefore it's predetermined. That's if you see my point there, someone knowing something does not mean it's predetermined, right? I mean,
if God knows that you're going to wear the blue shirt, not the red shirt, you cannot possibly pick the red shirt instead of the blue
again,
shirt,
but you're
because God
conflating the
knows.
idea of knowing something beforehand with it's predetermined. So
Yeah.
for instance,
that would,
the idea,
be
like,
predetermined by, by correlation, right? Because you cannot
that's
determine
not the
anything
case,
else.
actually. That's kind of not how that works. So the baggage of determinism doesn't just follow from all knowing. For instance, if you're a determinist fundamentally, your argument is that there's things that determine your free will. But you're just saying God knows what you're going to pick, therefore you're determined. But again, that's why I asked you earlier, do you think God writes it in stone what I'm going to do? Because that would be the determining
So
factor.
let me ask. Let's
But
kind of
God
go.
being okay.
Let's go like a little. I'm assuming that you're Christian, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Christian. So I mean, I'm assuming that you're familiar with the Bible, at least
Yeah.
familiar with it. Have you read Exodus?
I haven't read, to be honest with you, I haven't read too much of the Bible as of late, but
Oof.
could-
Yeah, because in Exodus it blatantly, I mean, it shows that if we're talking about the same God, right? It's like God admits to violating free will in the Bible, like in Exodus, where Moses is speaking to the Pharaoh, and Moses is asking Pharaoh to let his people go. God chimes in and well, first of all, before he even goes to the Pharaoh, God tells Moses, I am going to harden Pharaoh's heart so that he will not be able to let your people go. So that's why you need to demonstrate your power, or my power, to him using the staff that turns into a snake, et cetera, et cetera. But just know, like, I have hardened his heart to where he will not let his people go. So like that is God literally turning off the free will for Pharaoh. Like Pharaoh doesn't have the choice to let the people go.
this
God
sadly
has
doesn't
not
help your
allowed that to
argument.
happen.
You're showing me an instance where God stepped in to negate someone's free will. Therefore, if before he did that, your argument is still Pharaoh had no free will. So you see how your definition of free will and autonomy doesn't have any meat on the bones. I mean, in one sense, you're
No, it's
saying,
got
look at this
plenty meat.
instance where God comes in to negate the Pharaoh's free will. But your argument necessarily is that because God exists, the Pharaoh's free will is already negated. So you're saying the same thing twice.
Yeah.
You're saying God exists, the Pharaoh's free will is negated. Here's an instance where God negated the Pharaoh's free will.
Yeah.
You're using this is a fallacy, by the way. I'm
It's
showing you what's called a
not. No,
falsification.
it's not.
It kind of is, because you're
Because
saying
again, it comes
God-
down to God's will, right? Like God
see, here's
knew,
your
like
problem.
listen. So
So-
God knew that Pharaoh was going to be born and that all this stuff was going to happen, right? He knew this. He knew that he was going to harden Pharaoh's heart and he wasn't going to let them go. So yeah, in the end, Pharaoh never did have free will because he's a robot, right? Like God already knows what he's going to do, and he's going to do exactly what he needs him to do. And there's nothing that Pharaoh can do to differentiate from that. But there's the illusion of free will that the Bible gives, right? The illusion of free will. So it's more so just kind of affirming my point. It's not that it's two different points. It's affirming my point.
So you just brought in your argument that I had a problem with, that you completely shifted away from, which was the idea that knowing. Well, hold on, we were on the topic of knowing is predeterminism, right? But then you shifted to the Pharaoh story. You're like, here, I'll give you an example where God negates someone's free will. God softened or hardened the heart, rather, of the Pharaoh, and this negated his free will. But the Pharaoh didn't have free will before that, is your position. So you cannot mean free will both in those instances. It's impossible.
No, I do.
It's a false.
I think you're getting too hung up on it. I think you're getting too filibro into it, man. So
it's not filibro. Actually, it's just a simple false
it's a little filibro, man. So what it is here is that if I'm not able to differentiate from God's plan, if I'm not able to differentiate from what God has already predetermined for me, like he already knows, so he already knows what I'm going to do. So I'm going to mute you so that I can finish my point. Okay. So basically, God has predetermined what you are going to do. And what I mean by predetermined is that he knows that you're going to do this, right? So it is predetermined because he knows that you're going to do this, and he is determined that you are going to do X, Y, Z. You can't differentiate from that. Therefore, there is no free will. Me bringing up the Bible verse the reason why I brought up the Bible story is because the Bible gives the illusion that there is free will. Now, this is an example that there's no free will in that exact instance, but me going off of my tangent, basically saying that God is all-knowing, all-powerful, and all good. If he is all of those things, then free will doesn't exist at all, right? So it's two separate points, but they complement each other. That's where we're at.
Okay, so maybe to show my point more clearly, because I think it'll help. What I mean by the false equivocation you gave, which it was, but I'll show you how.
It wasn't.
If no, but I'll show you how it was. So
It
because
wasn't.
you're fundamentally your argument is skipping a premise. So I'll just show you what I mean by this. You say God is all knowing, therefore I have no free will. But what if I told you God wasn't just all knowing? God was all knowing, but also he wrote in stone what was going to happen in my life. So before I was born, he goes, this fellow right here is going to do this, this, and that. And he willed it. He willed it. Would you say that's a negation of free will?
Yes.
Okay, so
You're a robot in that instance.
okay, and in that instance, okay, so here's your difference now. In one instance, you're saying I don't have free will, but in another, you're saying I'm a robot.
Yeah, because
See,
I don't think
that's-
robots have free will because they were programmed
but-
to do something that they cannot differentiate from.
Okay, I'm going to keep it real clear for you. So in one example, God knows something, therefore I don't have free will. In one instance, God knows and he predetermines. He writes in stone what I will do. I'm a robot. See, the debate between free will and determinism, there's no distinction. There's no middle ground between being a robot and having free will. You're either determined or you have free will. But you're shifting around that. You're saying, yeah, so on this one argument, I'm saying you don't have free will, but in this other one, I'm saying you're a robot. But that's what it means to not have free will,
Right.
is you're determined. Okay, so you see my problem. In the first
no.
argument you're giving, you're saying God knows you have no free will. But then I gave you another argument. God knows and he writes in stone what I will do in my life. And you say I'm a robot.
Yeah.
Not having free will and being a robot are the same. But the reason why I gave you that as an example to think about is because your mind had to give a new word, right?
Nope.
You said in this instance you don't have free will, but in this instance you're a robot.
Nope.
So, hold on, you did that though. You didn't say in this
Nope,
instance
I
you don't
didn't.
have free will, and in this instance you don't have free will. You said in this instance you're a robot. So why did you say that?
Like, what do you? I'm just not understanding where you're coming. So, like, for me, like being a robot and having no free will are synonymous, right? Like, you are programmed
Okay.
to have choices that you cannot differentiate for. You can't make another. There's no other option. You don't even conceptualize making another. Like, you are determined to make that choice that you were programmed to make. And if God is all knowing, all powerful, and knows everything past, present, future, like that, like what is claimed, then you cannot choose to make, you cannot make another choice. You have the illusion of choice that you think you're making, but you don't actually have the choice. God has already predetermined that you are going to make that certain choice. You've been programmed to do that. So robots do not have free will. And if God is all knowing, all powerful, and knows everything past, present, future, then we are robots. Therefore, we do not have free will.
Okay, so I see what you're saying, but my point is, so I just want to, we could go back to my fundamental position is there's a difference between knowing something that will happen in the future and determining it. That's why in my example I said, what's the difference between God knowing and actually writing in stone, writing what will happen in my life?
So
as if
let
it
me
were a
ask-
script.
Let me ask you this.
Do you see how there's a difference there, though?
Let me ask you
I'll
this.
ask you
If
that.
God,
Well, hold on. Let me ask
Let
my
me-
question.
nope.
Do you see how there's a difference there?
no, so if God asks, or if God knows that you're going to wear a red shirt tomorrow, he knows it.
Yeah.
He knows that you're going to wear a red shirt tomorrow. Are you able to wear a blue shirt?
See, so you're asking. So here's the problem with what you're asking. Imagine I have free will and I have chosen tomorrow, December
Damn, crazy, you
25th.
can't answer. So if God
Well,
knows
hold
that
on,
you're
hold
wearing a
on.
red
I'll
shirt,
answer your
if God
question
knows
if you
that
let
you're
me.
going to wear a red
If
shirt,
tomorrow I will.
it's just
Okay.
no, man. Listen. We talk like normal people here. I need a yes or no answer. Okay.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So if God knows that you're going to wear a red shirt tomorrow,
Yeah.
are you able to choose the blue shirt? Do you have the?
No, I'm not able to choose the. No, I can't.
Then you are a robot, and there is no free will.
Okay, so again, you're kind of like mixing up the problem. So if I had a dream tonight and I had a premonition and I said tomorrow I know someone's going to do something and it comes to happen, does that negate the other person's free will? I mean, it's a silly example, but I feel like we have to use silly examples to just make it clear.
Okay,
If I have a foretelling, if I know something is going to happen tomorrow, does that mean that the person that it's going to happen to doesn't have the free will to exercise either not to or sort of exercise their free will? Like
Yes.
you're kind of
Yeah, if you know
So
that, like, if you know
okay,
that Johnny is gonna die in a car accident tomorrow, if you know it, like you are
yeah.
all knowing, you know it is going to happen. If you know that, then yes, there is nothing that Johnny can do to change
Well, let's
that.
stick
So
on the
he,
blue red shirt example.
yeah. So if you know that Johnny is gonna pick the red shirt, if you know it for a fact without a doubt, there's not, you are all knowing, you are God, you know it.
Yeah, I
Yes, he
know
is
it.
a robot.
So here's where I called it a logical leap of faith in the very start, and here's where it's happening, and you're gonna see it hopefully. When you say Johnny picks, you have to substitute something in there. Because if Johnny's picking from free will, that's still a possibility. It's
It's
just
not.
saying hold on. God knows Johnny has the free will and he will on that day tomorrow pick red. So when you're saying because God knows it, it's predetermined, what's doing the predetermining? That's
God.
the question. Your argument's begging the question. Another
It's not.
fallacy you're making.
It's not.
Hold
So
on,
God
hold
is all
on.
knowing, so he knows what you're gonna do, so you can't change
Oh,
that.
here
That's,
we
I don't
go.
know.
So God
I
knows
don't
what
know
you're going to do.
how
Therefore, you
you're, I
cannot
wish you would
change it
stop
because it's
interrupting me.
determined.
I wish you would stop interrupting me. I'll just mute you because you just keep, I can interrupt you because it's my live, but you can't interrupt me. Sorry. Yeah, no. So if God knows that you're going to make a choice and you cannot you cannot make another choice. There's no ability to make another choice. You don't have the power or ability to choose blue instead of red. You do not have free will. There's no, you try to play like the semantic game. You try to play the Philibro game. There's just no way to work around. There's no other way to explain this to you, my dude, is that if God says you're wearing red, you're fucking wearing red. You can't wear blue. That's that means that there is no free will because God cannot allow you. He's not creating you and then stepping back and saying he can pick red or blue. I don't know if he's going to pick red or blue or not. The fact that God is all knowing is proof that there is no free will because he knows what you're going to do. And he knows that you're going to do that action, and then he's going to send you to heaven or hell based on that action. So God has already determined whether, because when I talk about free will, I'm talking about free will in the context that, like, if you make X or Y decision, this is going to determine your afterlife, right? Whether you go to heaven or hell. And if God already knows what you're going to do, then he knows that he's creating you to torture you. So free will not existing not only doesn't prove that free will doesn't exist, right? It also proves that God is a fucking maniac, not even worthy of worship, right? So now you get to talk.
Okay, so I mean, you could kind of call it Philibro stuff, but it's kind of like first year philosophy.
Yeah,
If you ever
I'm
learned
not
about,
philosophy. I've never taken a philosophy class, so
I
don't
mean,
ask me.
well, so what you're talking about is philosophy. So
It's
if
not.
I'm trying to bring in,
There's a difference
I mean,
between Philibro stuff, like, dude, I'm serious. Like, I don't. You can go on to any other live stream, talk like Philibro nonsense, big words, and that's fine. Like, there's plenty of philosophy live streams out there. I'm not one of them. I'm an idiot. Talk to me like I'm 5, right? Like, I don't use those big Philibro words. If you can't have a discussion with your grandmother or your 5-year-old niece about this type of stuff, then I'm not interested.
okay. I mean, I could water it down, but
Please do, please.
Okay, well, I'm not trying to use like big words or anything, but usually the way this sort of plays out is you either have free will or you're determined. There's kind of not really a middle ground. The middle ground might be you have proclivities, right? And you have like certain temperaments and you have the free will to like control those or go against those. So that's kind of the sort of middle ground, but it fundamentally asserts that you can still have choice. And so usually when anyone says someone is determined or they don't have free will, there has to be kind of like a causal element, right? So there has to be some type of cause that makes my choice negated. It can be explained almost scientifically, right? So God knows I'm going to pick red tomorrow. I mean, God knows it, right? But the question is what's determining it? Is it my free will? Right? Because God is all knowing, meaning, I mean, God knows everything that's going to happen, right? So God just kind of knows what's going to happen. But that doesn't necessarily mean that because God knows what's going to happen, that someone cannot do what's going to happen through free will.
Well, you can't
Because
choose
I
any
think
different. You can't choose any differently. You don't have you can't.
Yeah, but
So
the not choosing any
determinism
different part, I think
it's
is
inherent
yeah.
to it.
The not choosing any different part is coming like kind of in the wrong place. So at the moment in time
No.
when I'm making, but I mean it is. So
It's not.
okay, can I give you like a real simple example? Like
Yeah.
I might ask you, like, do you think we have free will?
No. Well,
Oh, okay.
I guess.
So you're a
Well, you know,
determinist.
honestly, I'm kind of agnostic on the stance. I haven't really done. I used to land on the hard no that there was no free will, but I don't know, man. I'm honestly kind of on the fence. I don't really have a whole lot of.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really know at the moment, to be
No,
honest.
it's kind of a complex, sometimes a
It is.
pointless
It
discussion,
is.
to be honest.
It is. It's really complex, and so like just me being honest is I genuinely don't really have a position on it at the moment.
Okay. No worries. But so I mean, well, just imagine you do believe in free will. I mean,
Okay.
if you want to. So just imagine like you have this understanding that we have free will, right?
Mhm.
But then if I gave you the power to tell you tomorrow, you know, someone you know is going to do something. Like you just have this like premonition. And then you're like, holy shit, this person is going to choose this. And there's no, and it's true. If the premonition I gave you is correct, that they're not going to choose other than that. I mean, the sort of stance you have on free will isn't going to become that like every human being lacks free will, right? Because the one person I gave you a premonition about, I mean, that can't be applied to everyone. But then you'd ask yourself, well, even though I know what this one person's going to do, I mean, surely it doesn't negate like human beings having free will, right? En masse. I mean, if your position is, you know, just for the sake of argument, you believe humans have free will, just because I told you what, say, one person's going to do tomorrow, I mean, you'd ask yourself, like, does that mean like they don't have free will? Does that mean when they come to the choice they're going to make tomorrow, it's being overridden? And I guess the point I'm trying to make here is you'd start looking for like a sort of explanation, right, to negate the free will. You'd be like, okay, so what's doing the thing that's making the choice tomorrow? If it's not the person's autonomy, it has to be something else. So that's why my position is, because God's all-knowing, it doesn't necessarily mean you do not have free will, because now you have to add in some sort of explanatory power still, some sort of explanatory framework as to what's doing the decision making. That's kind of the point I'm making,
Well,
if you
yeah,
get what I'm saying.
and I guess the point that I'm making is that it's God. Like God is the decision maker because He has decided how your life is going to turn. He knows, right? Like God is all knowing, all powerful, and He created all of us, right? So like, who else, if not God, would be deciding what your life? And if He knows what you're going to do, if He knows how your whole life is going to be played out, I mean, is He not creating you to either creating you to send you to paradise, or B, creating you to torture you? That's where I'm kind of coming from. Is that like He, if He knows what you're going to do, like that's what it comes down to, is that not day-to-day choices. It comes down to what happens in eternity. And if God is claiming that you have this free will to do whatever you want, oh, you have the choice to go to heaven, or you have the choice to go to hell, when He already knows that you could, all the choices you think that you're making in your life is still going to end you up in hell, because I know that you're going to end up there no matter what, or I know you're going to end up in heaven no matter what. It doesn't really seem to add up that there's any free will, because if He already knows what's going to happen, you can't choose any differently. God is the creator of these robots. Who else but God would be the arbiter of what they do, or of their quote unquote free will, right? And give them the illusion that there is free will, when in all actuality there really isn't, because I already know what you're gonna do. So like, yeah, cool, you have the illusion of free choice, but in the end you're still going to hell.
Yeah, I mean, I know what the argument is, and it's so I guess I'll try to say it another way. I'll I think it's fair to be like civil in debates and stuff. So I actually recognize like the sort of strength of the argument, which is that, and I think you added in the other piece properly now, because I've heard this debate before, but the all-knowing part doesn't do a lot of the caring. So the actual strength of the argument, the sort of part that does the caring, and I think where you're getting sort of mixed up is by saying God wills it and predetermines it. That's kind of not what's happening, but it's
Well,
the strength of the argument.
The reason why I
Yeah,
say
go
it's
ahead.
predetermined is because there's no other option. There is no other option. Like, God knows that you're going to do this, whether he technically, if you want to say he chose that's what you're going to do or not, whatever. I mean, the bottom line is that you don't have the ability. You cannot choose otherwise. So all it comes down to is if God is the creator of these robots, humans, right? He created them. He has the ability to give them the choice. And instead of giving them the choice and saying, yeah, I know that you're going to go to hell, but I'm going to retract that. I'm going to give you some free will. I'm going to let you make your choices. Maybe you could go to heaven. Let's give you a shot. But instead he knows there's no changing God's mind. God's mind it doesn't change. But hey, man, listen, I appreciate the conversation. I think I'm going to move on for now. I think I have another guest in the queue here. So, yeah, but I'm going to move. I think this is a nice conversation though, but I appreciate you. I'm going to drop you like a hot rock though. Oh, sorry.
No.
I think I disconnected you. Sorry. I disconnected you a little too early. That's my bad. I'm sorry. I genuinely didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I cut you off, but thanks for being here nonetheless. W's in the chat for, Daredevil. All right, let's see if I have this other guest. Oh man, they just left. Well, shoot, I had another guest in there, but they backed out, I guess. With that, guys, we're officially at the 2-hour mark. I think that I'm gonna start to wrap it up for right now. But if you're watching and you want to call in, you're welcome to, I guess. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start to wrap it up. I'm gonna kind of give my outro. Feel free to call up. I'll take you. Yeah, guys, you can, if you're watching over on YouTube, thanks for being here. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the channel. I'm up to 1,080 something subscribers, so we're getting up there. I appreciate everyone who's subscribed, followed me on TikTok and Instagram. Follow my other social medias, by the way. I'm on, what are the social medias? I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Discord. A couple of you guys have already headed over to the Discord server. Appreciate you guys for being here. Yeah, I'm literally everywhere. Just type in UnquestionableCalvin or go to my link tree, and yeah, you can find all my stuff on there. But my voice is kind of giving out. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for now. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for following. Thank you for sharing. Make sure to stay away from Christianity. That shit is literal fairy tales, and you guys are too old and too good for that. You guys shouldn't be believing in fairy tales. Merry Christmas, by the way. I do love me some Christmas as an atheist, even though Christmas was totally stolen from pagan tradition. But what's new? Christianity stealing from other religions? Whoa, I never would have guessed. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you probably next week, probably next Wednesday, I think. I think I'm off next Wednesday, right? Yeah, I'm off next Wednesday. So yeah, I'll do this next Wednesday. I'll see you guys next week. And yeah, have a good one. Make sure to stay away from gods because they don't exist. So I mean, it shouldn't be too hard, right? But thanks, guys. We'll see you later.